Hi everyone, welcome back to FPL Moneyball, where we use data analysis to find the best players for your fantasy football team. Today we'll be doing a Matchday 4 UEFA Fantasy Football team selection video. So let's jump right into the key players and fixtures to watch. So this was my team last game week. I did score 64 points last game week, but I am not satisfied with the team, so I made a couple of transfers which I will be sharing on later. Particularly not impressed with the midfield with players such as Yildiz, Franco, Gula, Hakimi and Garcia all blanking, and so I did make the transfer to remove these players from my team, as well as the sacrificing of Erling Haaland, who hasn't been the best form in the Champions League lately. Compared to his Premier League, he hasn't got as many goals, and his expected goal statistics don't look as good compared to his domestic form. So I did make the difficult decisions to transfer him out, and also Haaland's form actually has been struggling kind of recently as compared to the start of the season. So this will be my team that I have going forward. I did play the wildcard this game week, and a couple of changes here. Firstly, Marcus Rashford coming in from Haaland, also another Barcelona midfielder, Fermin Lopez, on the bench as well. I did bring him in. Other midfield changes I made include Scott McTominay, Vitinha, Enzo Fernandez, and for defense I also made a couple of changes, bringing in top players like Dumfries, Nuno Mendes, Cucurella, Gabriel, Dan Burn and Trubin, so a very drastic change to my team. In total, I did make 11 transfers this game week, so I'll be sharing more on why I made this decision. So, firstly was going with the Barcelona players, and I was impressed with their previous 6-1 victory over Olympiacos, where Rashford scored 2 goals and a total of 13 points, and Fermin Lopez here as well scored 20 points actually, scoring 3 goals, winning the player of the match. And so they do face an easy opponent likewise this game week against Brussels away. And so taking a look at some of these statistics, I do think Marcus Rashford's form has been rather good lately. Since he's on loan to Barcelona, he's already had 2 goals and 4 assists in the La Liga this season with an average rating of 7.32. And in the Champions League, actually, has been even better, scoring already 4 goals in 3 games this season, bagging 1 assist as well. So I do think that Rashford is a top striker, and I made the decision to transfer in for Haaland. His stats have been very good as well. Among the top goals in the Champions League this season, and his shooting stats and shots as well look pretty impressive and all in the green for the Champions League this season. Another player that I brought in from Barcelona was Fermin Lopez, who plays in the attacking midfielder position, and his form also looks to be picking up lately with 2 assists in their most recent game against Elche, although it's quite kind of recent, so fingers crossed that he starts and he doesn't get rotated this game against Club Brugge. And the last Champions League game, as I said, he did get 3 goals, a hat trick with a rating of 9.7 against Olympiacos. His stats also in the Champions League actually look very good with 3 goals and a high expected goals of 0.88. And so I do think that he has potentially to return against easy opposition this game week. So switching gears, I also did bring in 2 PSG players. The first one was Vitinha, who plays in central midfield. He has gotten 1 goal and 4 assists in the Ligue 1 this season with a rating of 7.83. In the Champions League, he also did play a few matches. Most recently, in their game against Bayer Leverkusen, he got 1 goal and 1 assist for a rating of 8.9. But other than that, he hasn't returned so far. But I do think that he's a very good player for PSG, regardless in the Ligue 1 or the Champions League. He does have very good passing statistics, so he does have potential for high expected assists, passes, through balls, and chances created all rank very well. And I do think he's a very creative player who will continue to get goals and assists as well for PSG. So his stats also have been looking rather green, and so I did bring him in this season. And also another player that I brought in was Nuno Mendes, also from PSG. He has 2 goals and 1 assist in the league this season with a rating of 7.28. And in the Champions League is where he actually shines with already 2 goals in the Champions League this season and 2 assists. Most recently, he did score a 9.0 performance against Bayer Leverkusen with a goal and assist in the last game week. So his attacking stats look sensational among the defenders, ranking the top among goals, expected goals, shots on target, and he also has very strong assist stats with high expected assists of 1.44 and already 2 assists in the league this season, in the Champions League this season. So as PSG are one of the top performing sides, I do want to bring in some of their players. And I thought at first, as I own Hakimi, I thought that the difference between Nuno Mendes and Hakimi wouldn't be that great, but actually I was proven wrong, and I think there's a huge difference in terms of the points scored so far. Nuno Mendes has already scored 36 points, which is much more than Hakimi, who has only scored like less than half the amount of points as Nuno Mendes. So Nuno Mendes looks like the best defender in my opinion to own actually, and so I did bring him in. With the second best player to own in my opinion will be Denzel Dumfries, also 37 points, and he does face very weak Kairat Almaty side this game week. So looking at his statistics, he plays right wing back or right midfielder for Inter Milan, so a very attacking player for Milan who will go forward and get a lot of goals and assists. His ratings haven't been the best in the league in the Serie A this season, but looking at his Champions League stats, again very decent stats already with 2 goals and a few clean sheets, actually 3 clean sheets already in all their matches played. So Inter defense is among the best defenses in the league, and looking his expected goal stats, very strong all round, green all around, and so yeah, I do think that he is a good player to have in your squad and very solid defense to have with Inter. Next, I also did bring in 2 Chelsea players. Firstly, Enzo Fernandez, who plays in the central midfield for Chelsea. With the injury to Cole Palmer, he plays in a more advanced role in the attacking midfield, and he has 3 goals and 1 assist in the Premier League this season. In the Champions League, he hasn't really had a lot of chances to score, but he did score in 45 minutes last game against Ajax in their 5-1 victory and getting an 8.0 rating. So his stats are a bit mixed in the Champions League so far this season, but given his domestic form, I also decided to bring in Enzo, and Chelsea fixtures actually look very decent in the Champions League. So they do face very easy opponents against Karabakh away, Barcelona at home, who haven't kept a clean sheet in the Champions League this season, and weaker opposition, Atalanta, Pafos, and Napoli over the next few game weeks. So I do think that you can target a few of their players, particularly Enzo Fernandez and Marco Correa in defense as well, who plays at the left back for Chelsea, having two assists already in the Premier League this season, and in the Champions League, none so far, although he has managed to keep a clean sheet against Benfica. So looking at his stats, his attacking stats don't look so good. Expected goals are pretty low. Hasn't scored in the Champions League this season and hasn't assisted. But his passing stats are looking a bit decent, and he does have rather solid defending statistics as well. So I do think that Chelsea have potential to keep clean sheets, and even if they play more attacking, I do think that Cucurella could get some goals and assists for Chelsea this season. So some other players that I brought in, Scott McTominay from Napoli, who starts also more in a more advanced position with the injury to Haaland. I think Napoli are missing goal scoring threat, and so McTominay has filled that gap actually for them with a brace against PSV in their 6-2 loss actually. But he did have a very good rating of 8.8 this season. Looking at his shooting stats, also very decent. with 2 goals already in the Champions League, and high expected goals for McTominay. So I do think that he's playing a more advanced position with the recent changes, and so he also has relatively easy fixtures, and that's why I brought him in against Frankfurt, Karabakh, Benfica, Copenhagen, and Chelsea. So none of the the Chelsea is the only pot one opponent, and the pot two opponent is Benfica, which is quite weak, and Frankfurt, which are also quite weak. So I do think that he has good fixtures, and so I brought him in. Next player would be someone that you can't miss in your teams, Gabriel at centre back for Arsenal, who has probably the best defense in the Champions League as well in the Premier League this season. I've lost track of how many clean sheets they have kept. Probably 10 over clean sheets already this season. In the Champions League, they also did keep clean sheets in all of their matches actually so far, and Gabriel even got 1 goal and 1 assist in the Champions League this season. His stats from an attacking point look very impressive also, which is very unusual for a centre back. He has 1 goal and then 0.5 expected goals, but defense is where he shines and where Arsenal shines, and so I do think that they have a high potential to keep more clean sheets as the best defense in the league, in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So another player that I brought in was Dan Burn for me, and he did cost 4.6 million only, and that's one of the reasons why I brought him as a budget option for me. He does face also relatively easy opponent until PSG away in the last fixture, so I do think that he can get some clean sheets as well as maybe some goals from headers going forward in set pieces. So his goals haven't been very good, but once again, Newcastle defense have been very strong both domestically and in the Champions League, and that's why I have decided to select him in my team this game week. Last would be the backup goalkeeper, Trubin from Benfica. The main reason why I selected him was because he is $4.5 million only, and he does rotate well with my PSG goalkeeper. So, bringing him in despite not having the best of form or fixtures for me. So once again, this is my team, how it's looking to line up. Taking a look at the fixtures that they face, a few of them are playing on 5th of November, and that's why I am choosing to captain Harry Kane in the first day, and possibly if he doesn't return for me in the second day, I'll likely switch to Marcus Rashford, who plays Club Brugge on 6th of November. So taking a look at the opponents, a few tough fixtures for me with Bayern playing against PSG and Real Madrid playing against Liverpool, and that's why I did make some of my changes to more easy opposition. And so, going forward, I do think that these were the right changes to make, and I chose the teams not just based on their domestic and their Champions League form, but also, going forward, what's the likelihood that they're going to be able to continue their form given the run of fixtures, and also, how the team's been performing, and whether they are going to be selected for their team's lineup. So that's it for my Game Week 4 Champions League team selection preview video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be releasing my Matchday 4 recap or review of all the key matches and player performances later this week. So see you in the next video.